Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to all our CEO sir, principal sir, and Shravan, our all faculty members. On behalf of Chalpati Institute of Engineering and Technology, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, I welcome you all a webinar on the evolution and scope of automation in engineering boot camp by Shravan Garu. Sir, I want to like to request our beloved CEO, sir, Dr. B. Ravindra Babu, sir, to address the students, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon, Mr. Shravan.
Good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Principal, sir. Good afternoon, other departments, ECE. Good afternoon, all the faculty and the student participants who are all have enrolled for this webinar by the name, The Evolution and Scope of Automotive in Engineering Boot Camp. And we have a speaker who is a senior person in Renault Nissan, Shravan Kumar Unnam, a senior tech lead, Renault Nissan India, Chennai. Thank you, Mr. Shravan, for accepting our invitation and for being here today.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine.
Thank you. And as it is, the topic is, as I understand it, it may be a bit new to all our students. So that way you need to carry them, all of them with you today.
Sure.
That may be a bit challenge for you.
Oh, I love challenge.
Okay, then no problem.
Yeah.
I request all participants to make use of this opportunity and to learn a new area which you are not exposed to so far. So please be attentive and try to learn at least the minimum basics of a new area which you are going to be exposed. Thank you all. Once again, thank you, Mr. Shravan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
A happy learning to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Next, now I would like to request our beloved principal, sir, M. Chandrasekhar Garu, to address the students, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. A very good afternoon and warm welcome to all the participants who have joined with us for this today's webinar on the evolution and scope of automation in engineering boot camp, and is organized by our ECE department. On this occasion, I would like to convey my heartfelt greetings to our management and our CEO, sir, Dr. B. Ravindra Babu Garu. And also, I would like to congratulate our ECE department HOD, Dr. K. Ramarao, and his team members for conducting such an innovative and informative webinar, which is definitely useful a lot to all the participants. On behalf of CIET management, staff and students, I sincerely and wholeheartedly invite our today's eminent speaker, Sri Shravan Kumar Unnam Garu. Sir, a grand welcome to today's webinar, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And he
Thank
is
you very much.
a senior tech lead working in Renault Nissan India Limited, so which is located at Chennai. I strongly wish and feel all the participants should actively participate in today's webinar and enrich your thoughts. Let us unitedly fight together to stop further spread of COVID-19. And I hope all of you are doing well. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I would like to introduce today's speaker, Shravan Kumar. He's my friend, and I know him last 10 years onwards. I know Shravan. So he working as a senior tech lead in Renault Nissan India, Chennai. He had 10 years experience of automotive domain. So students, please learn. I mean, how many job? I mean, today we have only software only is there, but today onwards, I mean, so many electronics background jobs is there, but we don't know how to approach to jobs. I mean, how to we can get a electronic based jobs. So that's why I request to Shravan Garu, and he accept my request also. So he also how to we can automotive domain, how we can to join on automotive domain industry. So he also give a brief introduction about that. Okay, thank you, Shravan Garu, and please take it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Shravan Garu, if you want to share it, you can share there.
Yeah. Now, can you see my screen, all of you?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is especially to the students who are there in this session. So let's make this session quite interactive. Even I don't like continuously speaking. So if it if it is a more interactive session, I'll be more help. It will be more happy for me. Okay.
Shravan Garu, sorry for disturbing. 1 minute,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Students, join on your YouTube, okay, YouTube channel. It's already participant field. So you remaining who are not joined, that students, please join on YouTube channel. Okay.
Ramarao,
Sir.
I request you to send messages in the groups so that they can join on YouTube.
Okay, sir.
They
Yeah.
cross that limit on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah.
And the participants, you must have heard about some Shravan Garu's request. You must be participating in the entire discussion. That is what his request. Please participate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Shall I take up the mic?
Please.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Hi to all. This is especially to students. So as I told you clearly, let's make it an interactive session. Okay. So because I used to ask questions very much during my engineering also, please don't sit number, because you'll not learn anything if you sit number. Okay. Conducting this webinar, that too on Saturdays, for me it's a holiday. Saturday and Sunday is quite very busy for us, because all the things we keep aside for Saturdays and Sundays, and based upon Ramaro's request, and I'm dealing with this. So let's make this session interactive such that you can understand what and all is happening inside of your world and outside of your world. Okay. Now from the very first slide itself, I'll start asking you questions. Okay. So let's make this session interactive. Is that okay, students? Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Shravan. Actually,
They don't have. They don't have
yeah.
access to mics, right? Okay.
Yes.
Fine. It's not a problem. So then it's
They are all muted. They are all muted. Anyway, they can give the replies on the chat.
Yeah, you can do that. It's not a problem because this thing is quite new to you, as your principals have said and CEOs have said. First thing, we'll start with what is an automotive domain and how you are dealing with this in the market. So hopefully most of you know about what's an automotive domain is, or else most of you know what cars and all is meant. Okay, it's a basic transport for us. Most of you are dealing with it, and most of you are traveling with it. Okay, so automotive is nothing but a car domain. Okay, for us it's like car, because you'll not be dealing with heavy vehicles and all, like trucks and all. So for now, or for today's discussion, we'll deal with cars. Okay, car. You know the magic word, because it's a dream for every middle class and upper middle class family. So let us be realistic here. Okay, because from realistic we'll go into your technical things, followed by that we'll go into your scope, and followed by that how you are using this, or how the technology you're using it. Yes, someone has raised a hand. So based upon this, yes, we'll discuss how it is useful for you in your engineering, and how you are learning the things in automotive in your engineering itself, which you don't know. Okay, that will start from the very first. Okay, so we'll start with automotive. So the word itself, it is saying automotive is nothing but the inside and outside of your car. For today, you think automotive is a car. Okay, because we have many kinds of domains in this. You have automotive domain, you have locomotive domain, and you have avionics also. But since as I'm working with an automotive domain, I'll start with an automotive thing. Okay, so yeah, it's audible, right? And I'm clear.
Yes, Shravan.
Yeah, okay, Raman. So we'll start with your the very first kind of types of domains which you are dealing in your vehicle types. So we'll start with an embedded classifications. This why we call it as an embedded classifications means, since we are differentiating the terminologies in form of automotive, locomotive, and avionics, we use different types of embedded systems and different types of embedded controllers and processors. So we have divided that into automotive domain, locomotive domain, and avionics. So now I'll start about automotive, followed by that I'll tell you a little bit about locomotive and then by avionics. Okay. So we are dealing with an automotive domain today. So that box and all I'll tell you later for locomotive domain. So locomotive is nothing but the control of your trains. Okay. Control of your trains, you are dealing with a locomotive domain. That means your tracking systems, how your rail runs are made, how your rail is working upon the system and all, the total comes under your locomotive domain. And to be precise, there are very, very few companies in India which are working on this locomotive. Okay. I'll tell you one company which most of you will be knowing if you come outside of your, like once you're done with your BTech things and all. A company called as Alstom. Okay. It's spelled as ALSTORM and Alstom. It will be designing all your metro trains. Okay. I'm saying about not the tracks and all. Okay. Tracks and is completely, it comes under engineering module. The way your train should react and its signaling and its engine, okay, it's total outer body and all, it comes under locomotive domain. Okay. And avionics, so hopefully everybody knows about avionics. It's all about aeroplanes, planes. Okay. And you know the lots and lots of companies in avionics. And what is like, the vendors like Indigo, SpiceJet, and TrueJet and all. But how many of you know the back end of this? Like what is the engine you are using, what is the turbulence you are using, and what are the requirements inside of your hardware and all. It's very simple. Okay, I'll compare it with your electronics, and then I will start discussing on this. So hopefully Ramarao, which year is here, third and second, or else fourth is also here? Hello,
All the 3-year students are there.
okay, sir, thank you for confirmation. Yeah. Now we'll start with, since it's an electronics and communication. Yes, I am also an electronics and communication student. So we'll start up with an electronics. So hopefully everybody knows the basic of your electronics: a resistor, a capacitor, and a transistor. Okay. So what is a resistor used for? That you know. What is a transistor used for? That you know. What is a capacitance used for? That you know. Now, combination of all these components will give you what? An active components. Combination of all these active components will give you an IC, an integrated chip. Okay. So combination of all these integrated chips will give you what? An embedded system. Okay. An embedded system. So a combination of different embedded systems or different applications is nothing but the domains. Okay. That means, for example, what is an embedded system? One common question which you used to get for every interview, once you pass the BTech, what an electronic student will get this question as, what's an embedded system? Okay. Now, what generally you answer is, whatever is there in the textbook, you answer. Okay. And to be precise and to be concluded this in a single point, if the output is known for the given input, you call it as an embedded system. That means you know the output already. Okay. That means you know the application of that particular system, and then you're giving some input to it to gain that output. That is nothing but an embedded system. So this thing we are applying in automotive domain and locomotive domain, and we are not avionics everywhere. You are applying this in your real time also. You want something from your mother or father. So how you'll start the conversation with them? Okay, at the end of the day, or at your final discussion, you will grab or you'll get the input from your father saying that, okay, you're going to get a laptop since your output is that. So that is a real-time example. That is a real-time example for an embedded system. Okay. Now, this embedded systems, how we are classifying in automotive domain, locomotive domain, and avionics. Okay. That is what we'll precise over in this webinar. Okay. Locomotive domain, it's not it's not as per locomotive and avionics. It's not as per as in Indian markets, because most of the locomotive parts and all we are exporting it from other countries. Okay. And avionics, like most of the planes and all, we are exporting it from China somewhere and from Russians and all those things. Okay, but automotive, we have a lot of scope here in India because we are making our own cars. Yes, we do make our own cars. So we'll start with our automotive domain, and I'll give a little glance about your automotive domain. So how we will deal things in automotive domain, and the scope of automotive domain. That means the future of your automotive domain. Like now it is in 2020. Now you know like what and all the fuels we use, and within the 10 years of range, what will be the scope of this automotive in all the ways. Okay, and what is like a hot cake over there in that particular domain, that I'll tell you, and followed by that the scope of that automotive, what you can learn your engineering while doing your engineering or while pursuing your engineering, or else after coming out of your previous or respective institutions. Okay, that will have an overview. So hopefully I think I'm very clear about this. Let's start with the session. So as I told you, I have given a small introduction of your embedded systems and classifications and the type of domains you have and all. Now followed by that, I'll start with your automotive domain today. Okay, in automotive, you have two ways. One is a development kind, another one is a testing kind. Now tell me, sorry, it's not an interactive section, I'm sorry. Now, in this two, many of you will think development will have a lot of scope. Development will have a lot of scope, but testing will be having a lot of scope in your automotive domain. Testing will be definitely playing a key role in your automotive domain. I'll give you an example also, then you'll get to know. So development, like again, we are dealing development into two types. One is a white box and a black box. Okay, so like you might have heard of this word called as black box. It's not that black box which you use in your planes or helicopters and all. It's completely different. Okay, white box is a different kind of development, and the black box is a different kind of development. White box development will comes under code. Okay, if you're writing some code to develop a particular automotive thing, you call it as a white box. Okay, for time being, you forgot about the term called as automotive. Okay, we'll compare this with respect to your C program or your microprocessor programming. Okay, now in your microprocessor itself, I say you have, or else you might be having some idea on embedded C also, like if it is in your curriculum. Do you have embedded C in your curriculum, Ramara?
Not an embedded C, microprocessor and microcontrollers is there.
Yeah, process and controllers you're having, right? It's in third year, right? Third year, second semester.
Third. Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you for confirming. So I'll say you a white box of kind and black box of testing. So white box kind is the code which you write without having your record or your that what do you call that book which you write now, your programming while you come into your lab. Okay, while you come to your lab, before itself you'll be giving some programs to be written, predefined one. So what you'll do is simply like even I did the same. So what do you do is you come to your lab and you type the programs over there in your desktop or what and all things provided to you, and you'll get some output. Okay, that is the desired one. That means if you write such kind of code, you should get such kind of output. That is nothing but a black box. That means your output is defined for the input which you are giving already. Okay, hope you understand this. That means now you want like, for example, we'll consider a C program to multiply one number or to multiply two numbers. So what basic you require for a C program is obviously, right, you need two numbers with integers A and B. Okay, followed by that, the result should be stored in C, and C is equal to A into B. Okay, now you have given like A equal to 1 and B equal to 2. So obviously C will get us 1 into 2. Okay, and your result will be 2. This is nothing but black box. Okay, because you have given some provided input and you get a valid output. Okay, that is nothing but a black box testing. Now we'll discuss about a white box testing. White box testing is something different. Like you know the code what you're writing, but you don't know the output what you'll get. Okay, that means the programs which you are writing in your lab without having a proper step procedure. Sometimes you'll be giving C is equal to A by B. Instead of giving multiplication, you give A by B. You'll get some output. So which is not a valid one. So obviously that is nothing but a white box testing. Now in market, who is having a lot of scope is the black box ones. Because now, for example, now again we'll be coming back to automotive domain. I want to blow a horn, or else I want to play some song in my car. If that is also not the case, worst case scenario, I want to on the headlamps of my car. So for that, what I have to do, first thing is my car should have headlights, like the very initial condition. Okay, my car should have headlights. Followed by that, I will be having a switch for it. Now, if I tap on that switch or if I glow that switch, my headlamp should on. So these are the 3 requirements. Now this comes under your black box testing, because you know there is a headlamp, and then there is a switch for it, and if you on that switch, what it will happen? A light or a headlamp will glow. This is a black box one. But white box is completely different. Okay, you don't know whether headlamps will be there or not. You don't know whether switch will be there or not. But like blindly, you'll be writing a code. After writing this all, okay, after writing this white box testing and black box testing, the key thing is going into testing side. Okay, what you'll do now? Okay, what you'll do is you'll test the both white box and your black box code which you have written, which you have developed. This is nothing but testing one. So hopefully in India, rather than development R&D, we have more kind of testing. We have more kind of testing means 80% of the automotive world is under testing. The remaining 20% is in development, because we have very, very, very few Indian companies which are making their own cars in India now. For example, very few is like Maruti and Suzuki is one, and like Renault. Yes, we are also developing in our local. Renault and Nissan, both we have a separate plants, so we are also dealing locally, all local projects. Apart from that, very few companies. For example, you want to buy a BMW car, is it made in India? No. And you want to buy a Jeep? No, it's not made in India. You'll be simply importing it or exporting it. Both the ways is happening. So that's why this testing teams plays a key role. Okay, so this is your automotive framework. That means what and all we are into on automotive development, into automotive testing. So if you are into an automotive domain, you will be dealing either of these kinds. One is a development kind, other one is a testing kind. And now coming up to this, there are some companies or some OEMs. OEMs means the original car manufacturers, like Renault, Nissan, Maruti Suzuki. They are all your OEMs. Okay, now for example, hopefully many of you know about the company called as Bosch. Okay, in your household appliances also, you'll have lot and lots of Bosch products. You'll have mixers and grinders, you have washing machines. Okay, you have lots and lots of coins called as Bosch. Bosch is not a OEM. It's a tier 1 supplier. That means, as far as customer perspective is considered, I am an OEM. I make car, and what and all the components required in that car will be given by some other companies. Those companies you call it as suppliers. Okay. I hope like I'm very clear about this, and you're understanding this very clearly. Okay. Original equipment manufacturers means nothing but the owners of the car. Will treat in this way. Okay. Original equipment manufacturers means nothing but original car manufacturers, and the parts inside will be developed or will be will be assembled by some different suppliers. Those are nothing but your suppliers. I say, like for example, Bosch. Bosch is a software supplier. This I told you, development and white box and black box. So all this will be developed by Bosch, and this will be tested from our end. Okay. Yeah, here, like I told you, development, it will be done from the tier 1 suppliers, like because original manufacturers, they'll not bother much about developing and all. What they'll be concentrating more on is like testing and followed by a particular teams in testing. So this, like inside, you don't want to know about all like what kind of testings and all. You don't want to know about all these things because it's out of your scope. Like once you are into this team, then once you are into this automotive, if you're really interested in coming through, yes, it's always a very good warm welcome, because you have lots and lots of scope in automotive, lots and lots, tons and tons of scope. To be precise, I'll tell you during my finishing of the session, I'll tell you the scope in automotive and all, because it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, now this is your car. Ideal car is this. Hopefully everyone knows about this. So normally, what do you see in a car? What do you see in a car is first thing what I see in a car before knowing all these things is, what I see in a car is like whether the looks. Most of the Indians, since we are working very closely with the customer since 2 years, most of the Indians, like our nature is customization. When the car looks good in the looks, okay, by the looks, if the car is good, then for India it's a very good super success. Okay, like because we know, like our people are very, very much very much interested in this cosmetic changes and all. Like making up your car is nothing but we call it as cosmetic changes. Okay, like for example, sorry to say this, if any girls are here, yes, you'll like while you get ready or while you're going outside, you'll give a little makeup to your face. In the same way, in India also, we are saying the same. We are doing the same here. Okay, because of the Indian market. It's not about we are not giving you a standard car and all. The Indian market is in such a way because most of the Indian market is very much into deep customization and cosmetic changes. Okay, I'll give an example. For example, you have a car which is having some plain. You have a car which is of single color now. Like 4 or 5 years back, you have only cars with single colors. Now, what you have cars with 2 or 3 different colors. There are some cars which is having 3 colors also on the body. I'm saying I'm detailing you about the body of the car. Okay, now you see here, this is your body. So like roof is having one color and the rest of the body is having different color. Yeah, right. And apart from that, you'll be having more and more coming up because now you are concentrating on grills, you are concentrating on your tires. Now, hopefully for a car, how much you'll get? You'll get 15 inches tires. Now in India, it's like it's a 15 inches nobody is using. All are concentrating on your 16 inches, and they are not using a normal brakes. Hopefully, like on safety measures, everyone is using about ABS. Okay, so this and all, like I'm saying you, it's an overview. Don't go. I am not going to dig deep into this because you'll understand this slowly. So what are the basic features you see in a car is like now the market is you'll see like a good airbag now because safety is playing a prominent role in India, and moreover as far as government regulations also, most of them are concentrating on safety regulations. So hopefully we'll be having 2 types of safeties again, an active safety and passive safety. That I'll tell you like if time permits about types of safety things which you are doing. And air conditions, it's a must for India since we are very near to the equator and we are very, very hot in all the ways. And followed by that windows, power windows. Hopefully, yes, everybody is looking for a power windows. And mirrors, a central locking system, lights, whatnot, the dashboard, engine, your gearbox and brakes, everything like this is a car. This is what you expect minimum in a car. Okay, so this like will what we do here is for you this is like a car, but for us it is completely different. To my left side, I deal with as body components. To my right side, I deal with as powertrain components. Okay, it's not a different term or a difficult term. So hopefully left side thing you might have known, body components you might have known, but what's inside of the car we call it as powertrain components, like the engine thing, the braking thing, the sensors things and all. We call that as the gearbox and the dashboard and the brakes what you are having, and you are having many types of brakes also. Okay, that and all we call it as the powertrain components. And apart from that, the upper body which you used to see is nothing but a body component. Okay. And today, what am I going to concentrate is, now in this slide, I have told you about overview what you're seeing in this car, like the body and what are the components of the body, and powertrain components, what are the components of the powertrain which you're using. And now, this is what is the heart of your car. We call this as an ECU. Okay, like you have EDC, right, in your first year. So what is the meaning of what is the acronym of EDC? Electronic Device and Components, right? Am I right, Ramarao? EDC.
Circuits, sir. Circuits.
Yeah.
Circuits.
Sorry, my bad. Electronic Device and Circuits. Yeah. In the same way, here also we have a shortcut for everything. This we call it as ECU. This is nothing but, in a single word, I'll tell you, this is nothing but a microprocessor or microcontroller. That's it. This is nothing but a microprocessor or microcontroller. But for every microprocessor or microcontroller, you have a specific function. For every microcontroller, you have a specific function because it will act according to the input you gave and the output you want. In the same way, this ECU also will act accordingly. Okay. This ECUs, what they will do is, they are meant for a specific purpose. They are meant for a specific purpose. That means in a car, on an average, for example, now we are using your cell phones. Okay, in your cell phones, how many processors you are using? Right till now, octa-core is the highest one. That means 8-core processor. Okay, till now in mobiles, it is like 8-core processor. Quad is the normal one. Quad, hexa, and octa. Hexa we will not use. Quad, followed by DL, quad, and an octa. Octa is nothing but an 8 processor mobile phone. In the same way, here also in your ECU, you will be using different kinds of or different microprocessor, microcontrollers, and perform a single function for this. Okay, and perform a single function for this. That means, to be precise, this airbag is an ECU. Okay, this airbag is an ECU. Air conditioning is an ECU. Power windows is an ECU. That means, in a single word, in a single line, I'll say you power windows. What is the function of the power windows? Like at your door, you'll have a button called window button. If you tap on that button continuously, your window will go up and down. Okay. So now imagine this in terms of your microcontrollers or your microprocessor. Okay. Now you have like for example, what you have an input called as a button. If you tap on that button, your window should go up and down. So we'll write a function in this ECU saying that if you tap on that particular button, your window should open and close. Okay, that is nothing but an ECU. In the same way, if at all you want to on your lights, you have an ECU over there. I'll simply pull the trigger or pull the button of that light. What it will happen is at the back end, it will trigger an ECU. That ECU will give a signal to your particular light, and then your light will get on. This is how your car will work. Only this, because of this ECU only, all the functionalities in your car is working. Now, if students are there, I could have asked you this question. So, how many ECUs are there in a car? I told you this is a basic. These are some of your basic ECUs. So now imagine how many ECUs will be there in your car. Any guesses? So post me in your chat if you have any guesses. I'll be waiting. Do we have control to the chat, Ramana?
Yes. We are enable chat.
Yes, this is for you students. Definitely you should answer on this. Okay, any messages or any guesses? Is someone typing something or no? It's very simple question. Okay, I told you what and all there in your car. Okay, what and all is now imagine your wipers and all that also will come under an ECU, and you're playing your songs inside of your car, which is very basic function now. Okay, that also is nothing but an ECU. In the same way, now tell me how many how many ECUs will be there on an average in a car? I should say then by listening this, you should know that what am I thought of telling you clearly. Okay, so that means I'm asking you about the features in your car. Each feature will represent the features in your car will represent one ECU. Okay. So any answers, Ramarao? I can't see the chat.
Some of the students are
80 to 90. Okay.
80 to 90, 85, 95.
Lot more? No, 80 to 90. You are only not even half away.
70, some of people. Yeah.
Any guesses? Depends on number of functions in a car. Okay, Mr. Durga Prasad Kolluri, you are using a car. So if you are using a car, now tell me how many functions you are using on a rough kind. Depends on the number of functions in a car. Very, very good. That's a good answer because it's a very diplomatic answer. Obviously, as I told you, it's all feature based. Yes, depends on the number of functions in a car. You are right. Yeah, exactly. Who is this? Mr. Lalita Subramaniam. Yes, you are exactly right. On an average, you'll be using 150. On an average, for a normal call, with basic variant or mid variant and all, you'll be having 150 features. That means you'll be using 150 ECUs in your car. This is on an average. Now, in the coming years, and what we are seeing now is, you'll be having lots and lots of functions in the car, more than desired one. So now in the recent inventions, what we got to know was, many of you had heard about this called as MG Gloster, right? Hector MG Gloster. Now they are using 200 ECUs, which is highest in India. 200 ECUs means that car is built with 200 features, for which each feature will be controlled by one ECU. Now imagine, now Yes, you are right. You are absolutely right. It's around 150 to 200 on an average. Also, that depends. That depends on the car you choose, and that depends on the features what and all there in your car. You are exactly right. Okay. Now, how you are going to control these ECUs? How you are going to control these ECUs? That is what the key role plays in your automotive domain. And I have one more question for you. Like how these ECUs are your gearbox and your this powertrain module. Someone raised a hand.
Pravalika, you please chat in box.
Yes, you don't like as per Zoom regulations, you don't have access to that. So whoever it is, please post your questions if you have it in the chat. Okay, I will see through chat or I will answer you through chat. Okay, now we are in ECUs. So now, yes, you have identified the number of ECUs or number of features for your car. Now the question is, like you might have got this question, like how you control these ECUs. Yeah, is it by okay? Is it by what? By what way you're controlling all these ECUs in automotive domain? That is what the key role is. Because, for example, as I told you, your car is controlled with 200 ECUs. So what it will do? You'll dump all your 200 ECUs in your car? No, you cannot dump it because each and every ECU will be having a functionality. If that is not proper, no, for example, if your airbag doesn't open properly, obviously there will be a severe cause of death, right? In the same way, every ECU should be having a specific function and it should work perfectly. Then only you call that as a very, very good car. Okay, which is very, very safest. Now, for that, what you have to do is you have to communicate all your ECUs. You have to communicate through your ECUs, and then you have to give it on priority. One simple question. So, what is an interrupt? Yeah, respond it me in the chat box. I told you we should be very it should be an interactive session. Now,
only final years can answer for this question. Interrupt.
if final years are there, yes. What is an interrupt? Come on, 95 people are there. At least 10 or 15 will be final years. You can answer it. Yes, we have studied this interrupt and the function of the interrupt, which is very, very important. You'll definitely get a 2 marks question in this. Okay, if not so, then okay. I'll tell you the functionality of the interrupt. I'll not tell you the definition of the interrupt. Okay, now you're doing something or you're watching a movie. In between, some of your friend come, or else you're watching movie in a mobile, and in between, some of your friend will call you. That is nothing but an interrupt. A real-time example. Okay, you're watching a movie very keenly, and in between, some of your friend will call you, which is nothing but an interrupt. Okay, that means whatever the work you're doing, if it is interrupted by some other things, it is called as an interrupt in general terminology. I'm telling you in general terminology. Now, for example, in the same way, this we will think in our car. Now, a general scenario I'm saying about, like we are all going, we are going in a car, and it is it met with an accident. Okay, we are going in a car and it met with an accident. So what should be prioritized first? What should be prioritized first is the very, very first thing is when two vehicles or two things collided, obviously your airbag should open. That is very, 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 very first one. This is airbag is a kind of interrupt because you are traveling very safely in a very smooth way by playing some songs, and you're moving to that songs and all of a sudden before your vehicle comes, and obviously your brakes won't work if it is like below 10 meters distance and all, so you hit that vehicle. So before 1 minute of that, your car is completely stable. Once after get colliding, what it will do? Obviously, your airbag should open, which is nothing but an interrupt because the normal functionality is interrupted by a crash. That is nothing but an interrupt. So this kind of interrupts and priorities is also controlled by your electronic control unit. For that, you require a basic communication device. Okay, because you have to control all the ECUs at once. For that, you require an ECU. I mean to say, you're number 1 and you're 2, and someone is 2 and someone is 3. So how do you communicate between these 1, 2, and 3? Okay, a common platform is language. Yes, If it is of same language, yes. If one is Telugu, other is Tamil, and other one is like some Malayali, no. Then what is the common language? Obviously, yes, you'll show some actions with your hands and all. Okay, whatever it is, it's a medium. What it is, it's a medium. In the same way, now for example, so 1 to understand 2 and 2 to understand 3, you require a medium. In the same way, for electronic control unit also, to understand from 1 to 1, it require a communication unit. Okay, that is nothing but you call as CAN. Okay, the terminology of this CAN is nothing but controlled area network by the name itself. Yes, you can say that as communication area network also, but like in my terminology, I'll say it as a controlled area network, because area network, that means in a particular network or in I'm controlling some kinds of networks in an area is nothing but a controlled area network. That means I'm controlling a network in the area of my car. That is nothing but a CAN. Okay, that is nothing but a CAN. This is nothing but a communication protocol, which you will not study in your engineering. Okay. Now, if any final years and third years are there, what is the communication protocols you are studying right now? If it is 4.1 or 4.2 or 3.1 or 3.2, what are the communication protocols you have and you are studying now? You are done with microprocessor and microcontroller. So obviously you should be knowing about one communication protocol by default. I'm waiting for an answer. Okay. Have you heard about this RS-232 cable? Or else I2C bus? Yes, I2C bus you are using. And in engineering itself, you are studying I2C bus. Yes, you are using RS-232 also. HTTP and Ethernet. Yes, that is a kind of communication protocol. Yes, we can say that. Okay, Ethernet is a communication protocol, but it is like a network. It's a network protocol. Okay, fine. Any others? I2C, CAN. And how many types of transmissions? Types of communication transmission. Serial communication, parallel communication, duplex, full duplex, half duplex. You have lots and lots. Yes, communication. You should know this, and you should be ready to answer all these things. Okay. Nobody will give you a job if you sit idle. That is for sure. Okay. The way we interview also is the same. Even we take freshers. Yes. Not all, but we in Tamil Nadu, yes, we take freshers also from BIT and all this questions. BIT some institutions which are very foremost. We have some from gatherings also over there. So, you have to answer what you know. That is your first thing, because it's a webinar. It's an interaction session. It's not one type of communication. Because I know all these things. I know all these things very, very clearly. And like I have given you my time from 3:30 to 5 because of you only, the learning. Okay, which is very, very important. That is what differs you from others. Yeah, obviously. If you know something, put it somewhere, whatever it is, in terms of your speaking, in terms of your writing. If you know something, yes, better put it out or throw it out. It will be very help you. And please remember this. It will work out to you when you go to your interviews and all. If you know something, yes, put it out or spill it out. Okay. Now, okay, fine. Like this here, what am I showing here is how you are going to control this ECU in the form of plant. Okay. For this ECU, you'll be having a software which will be having in your desktop, and then this is your ECU. You'll be connecting some wires to it, and then in the plant you'll be testing that particular ECU. Okay. All these are your OEM specifics. That depends, like the tools, CAN, LIN, FlexRay. These are all it's not like up to you. You don't have to learn all these things. You know the basics best first. Okay. Now in your microprocessor lab, you're testing some boards, right? You're communicating some boards. You're writing some programming in your microprocessor, right? Yeah. In the same way, you'll write some programming in your ECU, and then you'll embed it, or else you'll put it in that ECU and you'll check the functionality in the plant. That is only nothing but the functionality of your ECU will be tested. Now, coming up to this, as I told you, the heart of your communication is nothing but CAN. So where is it used? Okay. So it is used everywhere. Okay, but most of you don't know this. Okay, the back end, since it's a back end, you don't know this. Okay, in car we use, in factory we use, in marines we use, in submarines. Yeah, yes, in submarines, in ships, whatnot, in your building automations, wherever is there automation and automotive, you have this controlled area network. Okay, there you'll not use RS-232 cables. Okay, now it's a very good point to know. Before this CAN, we used to connect ECU to ECU with different wires. We call that as harness. Okay, we call that as harness. Like we'll club some 4 or 5 wires. What we do in houses also, like while you do plumbing and all, you'll be seeing wires, a group of wires connected. Okay, we call a group of wires is nothing but a harness. Okay, so now to connect all these 200 ECUs, imagine the amount of wire we used. Okay, don't tell me in terms of kilograms and all. Say me in terms of width. Like, do you believe we use 1 kilometer of wire to connect all these ECUs? Yes, we do. Yeah, we will be using 1 kilometer of wire before this CAN has come into the market. That is somewhere around 2004 and 5. Okay, before that, you know how cars are made. To control all the ECUs, we will be using harness and wiring. Now, if you take out that wire and then if you pull it out, you'll be getting 1 kilometer. I am not saying about a single strip of wire. I am saying you about a harness of wire. That means a group of wires. If a group of wires is bunched together and if you make it a harness, that harness itself will show you 1 kilometer range. That means imagine how clumsy your car is and how buggy your car will be. Now, for example, something is not working properly in your car. Something is not working properly in your car. And if you want to know which wire is not working, so how you'll do this? In terms of wiring, it's very difficult. Sometimes there are cases impossible also. But anyways, all the time old is gold. Yes, in nowadays also, the new car which is having very sophisticated features cannot or may not work as a old car is. But it do have some constraints because as far as features is concerned, yes, you don't have that. Okay. So this is an example. So by inventing CAN, we have come out of all these things. Okay, we have come out of all these things because now what you do is you will connect all your ECUs by using single 1 or 2 CANs. By using 1 or 2 CANs, that's it. Yeah, this is what, like all these functionalities you can be used in your car, especially in your CAN, especially in your locomotive domain and your automotive domain. You will be using a communication protocol network called as CAN. You call it as CAN. You call it as CAN, which is very important. Okay. Now I'll tell you, like we have worked very closely with Nissan Magnet, which was a recent sensation because of the pricing. I can't say it is like it is very good in everything. No car is good at everything. Okay, no company is very good at everything. So recently I worked on this project called as Nissan Magnet, which is like we worked very closely with this. And now, for example, all these things, many of you know about the dashboard of your car. That means if you sit in your driver's seat or your first passenger seat, FPS, we call it as FPS, first passenger seat. If you sit over there, you'll be seeing some boxes. Followed by that, you'll be seeing a touch system. Okay, you can connect a mobile to that, and then you can play songs, you can have calls and all. And apart from that, you have in front of your steering, you'll be having a cluster. We call the tachometer as cluster. Okay, we call that as a cluster. All this can be controlled by using your dashboard. Okay, your power seats, your airbag, all this can be controlled by using your dashboard. So nowadays, what's happening is every car is being automated in such a way that by sitting in your driver's seat itself, you can control all the features. You can control all the features. So in the dashboard itself, we'll use a CAN. Okay, in the dashboard itself, the very first CAN will be placing in the dashboard, because by sitting in your driver's seat, you can control at most 100 features of your car, right? Yeah. Nowadays, also even like very recent launches, also you are using all the features which can be controlled by using your dashboard, like a rear wiper, front wiper, your CSWR switches, and your controls on your steering, and your fog lamps, whatnot, your fog lamps, your LED DRLs, okay, your LED DRLs, and your rear mirrors, your side mirrors, and your cameras of the car, which is very important, RVC. That means rear view camera, which is placed inside the bonnet of your car. That and all will be controlled by using your dashboard. So at the dashboard, we'll put a CAN. Simple. and other car and other one near to your engine or somewhere downside of the engine, because it will not be accessible. It will not be accessible to all. Okay, these are all the ECUs in your car, and all these ECUs is like is a single point contacted to your dashboard, and inside of the dashboard we use a CAN. Okay, now see here. This is a simple example. I am not going to be very complex on this. So now if you see here, this will be having inside this will have an inside module like this. This will have an inside module. All this, like all these cans will communicate to each other, and then which is of high priority will give you an output which is of high priority. For example, I took engine control and I took anti-lock braking. Now out of these two, now for example, your car you're going in rain, and if at all your car is going to skid. So what happens is, obviously this particular ECU will give you a signal in the form of a sensor or in the form of an electric signal or a digital signal. Okay, and it will trigger this on high priority. Okay, obviously what it will do is it will stop all the rest. That is what the beauty of the CAN, like which is of high priority will be passed through first. Okay, all will be prioritized first, and the rest of the functionalities all will be stopped. Okay, so this is what you use CAN. But if you use a wiring here, will that be propagated? No, definitely not. If you use a wiring or normal harness, it won't behave like this. It won't behave this much smart. So because of that only we are using a CAN over here. Okay, because of that only we are using a CAN over here. It's not like each and every ECU will be having CAN and all. It accepts CAN communication protocol. So that is why, to understand further, I have named it as CAN for every ECU. Okay, see, point-to-point wiring. Like I told you, your harness and point-to-point wiring is replaced by one serial bus, which will control all the modules, all the systems, and all the ECUs of your car. It's called nothing but a CAN, controller area network. Okay. Yeah, if something is playing up, yeah, see through it. You're seeing a video on automobiles. Yeah, this video will show you what and all is in there in automotive. Yes, that's a very impressive video, and yes, there you can see Yes, is it audible, Ramaro?
Yes, Ravan. Yes,
Yeah,
Ravan.
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. And what you have seen in that video, it's like for whatever it was shown over there, it's completely ECUs. You have seen cameras, you have seen cluster, we have seen safety features and all. Like it's like designing an ECU. It's like designing an ECU and testing an ECU in both the ways. One is with respect to the plans, one other one is with respect to the real-time environment. That is what you do over here. And it's not some rocket science and all. It's very, very, very easy. And you are an electronic student. Okay. Electronic students can do anything in a single term. I'm saying it proud because I'm an electronic student. I'm an electronics and communication engineering student. And yes, and I've done my post-graduation in embedded systems. Okay. So anything can be possible by an electronic student because you can shift to software team and you can test you can test and you can develop some tests. And at the back end, you can deal with the communication things and then you can make things functional, which is the most beautiful thing is you can make things functional, which all will not get that chance. Okay. That I'll discuss later about your the scope of your automotive and all. So this is like the workflow, how like in the previous video I've shown you like how you are testing these things. Now here what I'm showing you is, what am I showing you here is, it's how you test an EC. Like that is a video representation. This is nothing but a flow chart. Okay. Now how you'll test an ECU, you'll get an ECU followed by that. Followed by that, you'll analyze that ECU and then refine to real-time test. And then once it is confirmed, once the ECU is functioning properly, you'll go for a mass production. In the same way, here you'll be testing ECUs. This is with respect to your plant. This is with respect to your work center or development center. Okay. So you'll concentrate most on the second one. Once that is clear from our end, then we'll move it to the plant side. Okay. And this is as far as the functionalities of your car. And apart from that, we have one thing called as regulations. So how many of you know the regulations of your car? Regulations is nothing but the safety ratings. Okay. The safety ratings of your car, which is very, very, very playing key role in India right now, which is very hot cake right now. If you are very good at regulations and if you are very good at working on some features called as, how I can say, in a real-time scenario, yes, a camera, okay, in your car is, we call that an ADAS, Advanced Driving Assistance Systems. Okay, if you have for example, you're moving your car back, you want to park it somewhere back, and then you're moving your car back. What happens? Obviously, if you have a touch screen or a camera with a back view will be popped up in your screen. So that is nothing but a driving assistance feature because it is helping you out. It is helping the drivers. It is helping the driver. So we call it as driving assistance feature. Okay, and we have cross regulations also like this. Like for now, which is playing very key role. Crash regulations, we have lots and lots of numbers, and it is given by global. It is given global way, that is international regulation. One you'll have, and India will have, Asian will have. Okay, we'll be having global regulations over here. So this crash regulations, okay, it's not up to now. Once you're into automotive, then you'll get at the back end. So to give you a overview, I'm telling you. Now, for example, what and all the most cars we are using here in India is like somewhere around 2 to 3 rated. From the past 3 years itself, we are getting a good rating of 4 or 5. It started with Tata, and it is carried out by Tata. The platforms, yes, they are having some alpha. The architecture which are designing the car, we call it as alpha architecture. That alpha architecture is giving a good safety rating. Yes, a Tata car is completely safety rating with 5. Followed by that, now the new market is on compact SUVs. So most of that car also is giving you a 4 out of 5 ratings. That means you are very safer in that car. Okay. Yeah, these are all your communication protocols. I can't compare you with this I2C bus or your RS232 bus because when you compare CAN with these two things, you can't see anything improvement in your RS232 and your RS232 cable and I2C bus and all. So like this is like the communication protocol speeds which you are using. The speed is like 500 kbps. Now RS232, what it will transfer? It will transfer 1 bit per second, which is like very difficult for us. Okay, so this CAN, it is not for Bosch, it's a Vector. Vector is the company which will be developing CAN. It's a physical device. Okay, it's a physical device. I can't show you that thing right now because I have some confidential.
Shravan,
Yeah.
some noise is.
Yeah, it's from outside. I can't help it out. We'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Yeah.
One second, I'll close the window.
Ramarao,
Yeah. Hopefully it may be clear now.
Sir, tell me, sir.
not there.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So this is thing, imagine this, where you have seen this? Yes, it's the touch system of your car. It's inside of your car, like you said, next to your driver, you'll be having a touch system. Okay, this is what your touch system is. And this is how we'll test this in our plant or in our development area. Okay. And if you go into the car, it will be a different one because you can see that voltage over here and the current over here. Voltage is like 13 and current is like 0.7 to 1 ampere. So like this is a similar kind of our RPS, right? A regulated power supply, which you are using in your lab. In your ADC lab, you are using an RPS with 230 volts, 30 volts, followed by how many amperes? 2 to 5 amperes, right? Yeah. Yes, hopefully, yes. If I'm not wrong, yes, 30 volts power supply followed by some 2 to 5 amperes of current. In the same way, we also have some components which we'll be testing like this. Okay. Obviously, we'll be giving some power supply to this, and then we'll check the current also. There are some scenarios which will be checking current and power also. Followed by that, we'll test this particular system. Now, this is a single ECU in a car. In such a way, you'll be having hundreds and hundreds of ECUs to be tested which will be tested in your development centers. Okay. And like this is some Bosch video, how the advanced automotive technologies is working on now. Now, see this video. Yes. So hopefully you have seen all the engineering, all your engineering here in this slide or in this video. I'll tell you as far as your subjects also. So you have touched about the subjects. You have radar engineering, you have satellite communications, you have communication theory. Yes, you have your sensors kind of things, which will be using Leica and DICA, digital integrated ICs. Yes, this is like some digital IC. Yes, see how many, like in a single video, how many subjects it has covered. Yes, it has covered your satellite communication, radar engineering. Yeah, lot more to come to. And you have your, see, this is what a single feature is. It is completely about your navigation and your radar systems. And it has used enormous number of sensors over here. It has used some 7 to 9 sensors and controlling all the sensors by using your satellite communication. So imagine that this is for an autonomous car, not a car who is having driver inside of it. This is for an autonomous car, which will be driving safely without a driver sitting inside of it. In that way, it will control all your road. Okay, so think of it like how automotive is into the market right now. So you have lots and lots of scope over here. Okay, so that is what, as far as the scope of your automotive is concerned. In a single video, the video is very clear, like it was showing you some satellites and all. It is showing you some out of world things. No, it's not out of world. It's inside world, which you are doing it, because without man doing or without human doing, nothing here is possible over here. Okay, so this is a different kind, like what all like how you're structuring your companies and all. I told you, in the starting itself, it's an original equipment manufacturer followed by tier 1, tier 2 and supplier companies and all. Like for example, seat belt will be which will be supplied to you by a supplier company to the OEM. Followed by that, you'll be having all tier 1, tier 2. That means tier 1 and tier 2 will be using supplier companies, and then the final end will be going to your OEM. So this is not required for you now. For a general overview, I've given you a slide over here. Okay, now I'll share you something about your automotive future. Okay, now where we are in now in 2021, and how you will be in your coming 4th years, like 4 years from now, 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. So the key feature is EVs. Like how EVs are emerging in India. Everyone is saying by 2025, India will be completely out of petrol and diesel, and the prices of petrol and diesel, it's around 102 to 103 now. So alternate substitute for this is nothing but electric vehicles. So by 2025, yes, you can expect 50% of electric vehicles in India. Yes, that's a rough margin or rough statistics. I can't say even clear. Even yes, we are also waiting to launch an EV, and every company is waiting to launch an EV. So hopefully, all of your most of your cars will be running out of India is a country, or the Gulf countries, so whatever the countries who are supplying crude oil to us will be out of this petrol and diesel by some time. So obviously, we should search for an alternative. That is nothing but EVs. Okay, the future of your automotive is completely on EVs. So if you have a good knowledge on electric vehicles, and if you have good knowledge on your basic active components called as resistor, capacitor, and inductor, a transistor and all, yes, you can work on it. You can work on EVs. And followed by that, one more feature is dashboards. I told you, like Indians are very much enthusiastic about your interior of your car. So interior of your car is nothing but your dashboard. Okay, a very well equipped dashboard is the future of your automotive, because all your car can be controlled by using this dashboard. So it is having a lot of scope. And regenerative vehicles, EVs is having the power of regenerative. Okay, I'll tell you an example. See the first slide. Here it is nothing but your dashboard. So in this dashboard, if you see here, you can control this touch. You can control your AC. Here you can control your start and stop. Here you have your cluster, and here you'll be having all your switches like to switch on to call and all. So this is nothing but your dashboard. All the and this also is a kind of a dashboard. Here your power windows and all. So all this will comes under your obviously your dashboard or the interior of your car. So hopefully this will play a key role, because now what cars are like, what automotive companies are looking at is a more number of features in a compact model. That means your the size of that particular model should be in the form of 10 inches, and it should work out the whole car functionality. So that is what they're expecting. And this is like alternate fuels. I'll tell you next. These two slides is for EVs. Like now further is future is completely on EVs and your regenerative braking. Now, if you break up, your car should regenerate energy, which is like, see, imagine like if you're going in a car and you're going in an EV and you're continuously braking, which will give you some push up and it will regenerate your car. That means it will recharge your car. Imagine that. Like imagine you're going in a car, and then if you keep on pushing brushes, your car energy will be increasing, because we are not using any petrol, diesel over here. You'll be using lithium batteries. Like what you are using for your mobile. Your mobile is used by lithium-ion battery. In the same way, for your cars also you are using a lithium-ion batteries. Now in the market also you have lots of cars. Tata Nexon EV you have, and Hyundai Kona you have, and MG Gloster also you have. One MG vehicle is like it is also an EV which is having lots and lots of features. This is like the future of our Indian automotive. Okay, and other one is like alternate fuels, which is very, very, very important. Alternate fuels is like for example, for petrol and diesel, what is the alternate fuel is gas. And if the gas runs out, what is the alternate fuel you have? You don't have nothing. So now most of the companies and most of the countries are concentrating on carbon and hydrogen. Most of the companies are concentrating on carbon and hydrogen. So these both of your alternate fuels. That means if an engine is pumped up with some carbon or hydrogen, yes, you can run your car. But the only problem with this is your pollution, which is not acceptable from our country side. So they are working on it. Even my company is also working on it. Renault in France and Nissan in Japan also working on the alternate fuels. So hopefully by 2030 you'll get some input on alternate fuels, because pumping up an engine with carbon and hydrogen with less amount of pollution is definitely a welcome for us. And one more very, very important thing is autonomous vehicles. Very, very important thing is autonomous vehicles. That means without drivers, yes, it can take up. Okay, which will be mostly used like most of the European countries and foreign countries and Western countries, they're using this. And hopefully it may launch in India somewhere around 2025 also. Yes, without driver, if you sit backside, yes, it will take you to your destination. Yes, like with all the preloaded functionalities, it will be having everything. Okay, which you can control without having a driver seat and without having a driver also. Okay, and this is your scope. And here in this scope, you can see electronics everywhere. In this scope, you can see electronics everywhere by the name itself, electric vehicles. Okay, dashboards, regenerative vehicles, and alternate fuels. Maybe alternate fuels is not your part, and even not my part also. This dashboards to run, it requires some power up, and it requires some communication, and it requires some combination of electronic components and hardware, which only you can do. Okay, and regenerative, some powertrain things will come along with it. Some like electrical students can do it, but to control this and to pump up this into your car and to control this, you definitely require electronics and communication thing. Yeah. Now, like this is what you have seen as far as automation is considered. Okay. Okay, this is what this is what your future is, and this, where are you in this feature? Okay, where are you in this feature? We'll see. Okay, this is what I have I have concentrated on this particular slide on. So now I'm completely talking to you about your hardware knowledge, your protocol knowledge, your programming languages, and your embedded systems, all what blah blah blah, what and all is using in the car. How far you are up to in this? Yes, you do have some knowledge on this, and you can work out further such that you can improve your skills, and then you can come into your automotive. Protocol knowledge, you are having already like USRT, RS-232, I2C bus. It is nothing but a protocol knowledge. And yes, one of my good friend told me about a networking protocol you are using, HTTPS and Ethernet, that is TCP/IP protocol. And hardware knowledge of electronics, yes, you have lots and lots of hardware knowledge. Like what do you use a resistor for? What do you use a transistor for? What do you use a capacitor for? Group of all this will form your IC. I told you, like group of all these ICs will form your embedded system. Apart from that, I told you the white box kind and black box testing. So white box kind you can write by using your coding languages, which and all you are using. C in your first year. Python, okay, Python you may not be using this. Once you come out of this, you can learn this. But this is a very, very hot cake in automotive domain. Yes, if you learn Python out, once you come out of your BTech of your engineering, yes, you'll definitely get a job on this. Yeah, MATLAB and LabVIEW also. MATLAB you're learning in your third year, it seems. Yes, it's you have some projects on MATLAB also, because all the powertrain, all the engine related things will control by using MATLAB. And embedded systems, you'll have this microcontrollers, real-time operating systems. Now we are into cloud also. Like we'll monitor our vehicles GPS location and all that, and all is comes under cloud. Okay, this is the scope. This is your scope to learn up or to pump up your knowledge in what? In automotive domain. So if you're good into this, then afterwards you have to learn some tools. Okay, and then you can come into your automotive domain. So this is what I thought of telling you. Now we'll have some general discussion. Okay. Now we'll have some general discussion on this, like how to pursue a career in automotive domain. Okay. Yes. Do you have time, Ramara?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll not take much of your time. I'll wind it up by 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
How to pursue a career in automotive domain. So the very first question what you'll get is how to pursue or how to go into or how to get an automotive job. Yes, we have a lot of platforms for it. Within engineering, it is not possible. Like let us be clear, it is not possible in Andhra, it is not possible in Telangana, but in Tamil Nadu, yes, it is possible, because Tamil Nadu is a state which is having more and more, followed by Karnataka. Yeah, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, they are having lots of scope in automotive, lots and lots of scope. To be precise, nobody will come out of a job. Nobody will come out of engineering without a job. Whatever it is, even it's a small one also. Like there are two kinds of jobs. One, you'll be dealing with in plant. I'm telling about automotive domain, not about your IT. IT, obviously, yes, you have a lot of scope in everywhere. Okay, if you want a good career in IT, yes, you can go. If I tell you want a good career in core side, yes, you can always come, and you're always welcome to your automotive domain. Okay, so many of you are having this. Yes, I tell you a myth. Many of you are having a myth called core side we don't have jobs. No, you are not right, because we don't have scope here. And hopefully what BTech students will do is, once you come out of an ECE or an IT or computers, what you'll search is you'll search for an IT job. Okay, then who will manufacture good cars and all? Yes, electronic students, you should do all this. This is in our scope and this is in our hands. So yes, you have a lot of scope over here, and you can come and work on it. And yes, you have lots of companies in South India. You have I told you, each and every plant is there in South India. BMW you have, it's not a development center, it's an assembling unit. BMW you have, Renault, Nissan we have, Maruti Suzuki we are not having, and Kia we have in Andhra. Yeah, it's a development center. And Hyundai we have, everything we have. But what you have to do is you have to put it in the right path. Yes, for that I told you, like in your engineering you may not be studying about all these things. So once you come out of that, you pursue your career in your embedded systems. One scenario. Other one is you pursue your career in your communications. Some companies like Vector in Hyderabad. Yes, Vector in Hyderabad. CDAC also will offer you, and AMD. Yes, CDAC, Vector, and all. They'll give you a protocol knowledge on CAN and all, communication protocols and all. Yes, you can pursue a career over there. You can take some course on it, and then you can come into it. You have a lot of scope here, and you have lots and lots of jobs also. I'll not say you like once you're out of the BTech, you'll definitely get you a good job in your core side. Core side jobs will never come to your feet. You should definitely go and search for it if you are interested in doing that, because I did the same. Hopefully, yes. Even I had a good software career also. I thought of going there, but instead of that, I moved to this core side because it gives me plenty satisfaction. Obviously, when you're in electronics and if you do the work which you studied, it will give you damn satisfaction. That is for sure. That is why I'm pursuing my career over here since the past 10 years. Obviously, yes, you have lots of issues over there, and then you can overcome that issues, and then you can work on it. Hopefully. And you have, I told you, no, you have good institutes in Hyderabad and Bangalore. If at all you want to pursue your career in your core side, I mean to say in automotive, in your avionics and your locomotive also you can do. Yes, all the ways the work is same, but the platform will be different. Automotive is the same, locomotive is the same, and you don't believe you can in automotive also you'll have code. C, C++ coding we are doing right. We are doing now embedded C coding we are doing now. Python coding we are doing now. All the backends, like I told you completely about hardware and the software, how it is controlled. It is controlled by using Linux. It is controlled by using C. It is controlled by using C++. Sometimes Java also. Backend you require Java also. So hopefully, yes. Now, because you don't know the value of that particular subject while you're studying, for us 28 marks. What is your pass marks? 28 plus 12, right? 40. For us, 40 is enough to come out of our engineering. No, even like I'm also I'm also a last bench student. Don't imagine me like I'm a very first bencher or a second bencher. I'm also a last bench student. I'll be sitting one to the last. Okay, I'll be the second one. I'll be sitting the second bench from my last. Even I'm also pursuing a good career because you can explore well. Once you explore, definitely you'll get a good career. Career is there for everyone. You have to choose your path. That is what. So if you choose some different path, definitely you'll have some good fruits. Obviously, you can enjoy your life also, because since you're working in your electronics, you don't have much pressures also over here. So whatever the work or the development model it was given to you, you will work it out of love. Okay, because since it is the you have studied on this, you know about these things all. This I'm saying to the students who are very good at should have sound knowledge on electronics. Then obviously yes, you can have a good career over here also. Hopefully, as I told you, the world is very small. You can come over into automotive, and yes, if time permits, you can work under us also. And for now, we are working on Renault India. I don't know where I'll be working in the coming future years. So definitely, if you have interest and if you are ready to pursue a career in automotive, yes, you're always welcome. You have lots of opportunities. That step you have to take. That cannot be pushed from any of you, not from your teacher side, not from your parents side and all. That it should come from your side. And this is a basic overview, like what is happening in the automotive domain and all. So if you have any queries, yes, you can post it right now. I'm open to queries and all.
Thank
If
you.
not, yeah. If not, so how to enter in this field? Yes, Srikanth, I have answered your question. We don't have on jobs. We don't have any on job trainings on this, or else on your CRT campus recruitment training and all. We don't have. But once you came out of this, yes, you go to Hyderabad or Bangalore. You search for some. I told you, some institutes like Vector Institute or Skill Spiders and all. You go to that institutes, and then you ask them you want to be an automotive engineer, and they'll give you some curriculum. It's not like 1 or 2 months. It will be a very good curriculum with 6 months of a training, a real-time training and hands-on training. Yeah, if you perform well, definitely you'll get a job. Yes, once you're into this, then obviously nobody will stop you. Yes, any queries, please post.
Students,
If not, so I'm sorry, I can't give you my personal number and mail address also. So then your single point of contact will be Ramarao Garu. You have to ask him how to contact Shravan and all. If not, so ask your questions to your respective HOD. Right, no, Ramarao? Such that at least it can come to me.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And even for if you are any assistant professors here and all, who have pursued MTech and all also, yes, it's a very good career for you also. You can try this. It will be a very good career for you. It's not only for students. Yes, if you are passionate in working, yes, you can pursue. And it will be giving you very, very good results also in terms of package also, I'm saying.
Students, any question? Students, feedback is posted on chat box, so fill that.
Yeah, that's it for this day. Yes, you have any queries and all, you can post me. I don't know whether I can give you my personal mail and all, but hopefully I may not give you. Yes, you can ask to your HOD Ramarao if you have any particular doubts on how to pursue career and all. If it comes to me, if you are very serious about it, and if you tell you want to definitely pursue a good career, we'll help you out. That's not a problem. Guiding is our guiding is our phenomenon, and we'll work on it. It's not a problem. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Shravan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
That is I mean to say, a session that took all the participants to a new area. Of course, they may be knowing all the terminology, but the links that you have provided between these terms, that may be a new thing for all of them. Hope all of them have learned so much. Thank you, Shravan, for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing your time also and, and listening to me. Yes, for students it will be very good because even I am also very confused after my BTech and all to where to pursue a good path and all and how to go inside of it and all. But I got to know like in our areas we don't have much exposure on this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought of disclosing to the students such that they'll have some good careers and all. So I think I have done my part.
Yes, you did your part.
Yes. Sir, can I conclude, sir?
Yes, please.
Vote of thanks on behalf of Chalapati Institute of Engineering and Technology. I thank to Shravan Garu, accept participant as a resource person of automotive domain. So for this webinar, and I thank our management also, Chairman YV Anjaneyal Garu and Secretary Sujit Garu and our beloved CEO Ravindra Babu sir and our principal M. Chandrasekhar sir. So all faculty and students, thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ramarao. I'm signing
Yeah.
off. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'll end this session, sir. Okay, Shravan. Thank you.